Good day, this is Gordon from TaroWorks. I have received a few questions from the field asking of how do you map to phone and email fields. This applies especially for customers who wants to create contacts, and so the situation where they faced is in the field mapping. They want the staff to be able to enter a phone number or an email and have it fed into the record that they're creating or updating. The issue that they ran into is when you're at the field mapping page. So this is the field mapping page, and here's the contact. And what you want to do is to map a phone number, so a phone number question, into the field. Email does not show, nor does any field that is belonging to a phone number. So actually fields like phone is not mappable, mobile is not mappable, email is not mappable. This is currently a limitation by design, and we are working on it. There is, however, a way to work around it, and so the way to work around it is by creating a buffer field, a placeholder. So this here, mobile num buffer, is actually a text field, and as you can see, you can select it. This is mappable, so you could save it, and when you submit, the number will be automatically sent into the field here, just like normal. The trick then is, after the record has been created or modified, it automatically copy the number from the buffer into the field that you want. And for this, you'll require a workflow. So let's pause there and let's take a look at the contact fields. So in the contact fields, again, in the custom field and relationships, I have built a field, very simple one, that is the mobile number buffer. It's just a text field. There's nothing to it. The important thing here is that it's a text field, and I will explain why later. Okay, and next, if you haven't done it already, make sure it is mapped to your question with the mobile number. This question should actually be a short text. So, and I'll explain why. Inside TaroWorks, here we go. This is the mobile number. This is actually of a short text type. The reason why you want mobile number or an email or anything that will be fed into a buffer field as text is because there are restrictions to number field. When you use a number field for phone number, you cannot go over 9 digits, nor can you put dashes or pluses, things that you may find important. So we always recommend people to use a text field. Of course, this affects how the keypad shows up on the TaroWorks app, but it is definitely the best solution at the present. So again, step one, create a field meant as a temporary buffer, mobile num buffer. Then what you need to do next is map it in the field mapping. The third thing you need to do, and this requires a little bit of knowledge, is something called workflows. So in order to use the workflows, click on create, workflows and approvals, and you'll be taken to this page. What you want to do is to create and manage workflow rules. You'll have a little bit of an explanation about what workflow is. You can skip it. So what you need here is a new workflow rule, and again, it's pretty much written out here. Each workflow rule, you need to have a criteria on when to run this. You need to say what immediate action needs to be done, And for us, the immediate action that needs to be done is to copy the information from the buffer into the actual mobile field. Right? So let's gonna do that. We're gonna click on new rule. The object that we want this to affect is contact. Click next. You'd then be asked for a rule name, and in our case, let's name it copy mobile from buffer to actual mobile field. That's just a good way to help us remember. When should the rule be evaluated? It should be any time that it is created, because initially when it's created or when it's edited, that's what you want to do. And what you want to do is you need to say when to run this rule, and the answer is run this rule when all the criterias are met, so or when formula evaluates to true. If you want it to run every time, you can simply put true in here. That's definitely one thing you can do. If I recommend choosing criteria as met, and you could choose a variety of parameters. You could choose if mobile field is not empty. So for example, I could choose mobile phone number if it is not equal to null, like if you leave it blank. So what this basically say is run this rule or run this workflow whenever the mobile number buffer is not empty. So we're gonna go save and next. So we created now a workflow rule, but there has been no actions. So there's a rule, you know, it will trigger when this criteria is met, when the mobile number buffer is not 0 or blank. Let's add a workflow action. You'll be given a choice. You should click on new field update. You should give this workflow a name. So for example, copying mobile buffer to real mobile field, right? And then ask you which field to update. Well, we definitely want to update the mobile field, right? That's the one we want to copy over. And again, this is the mobile field. Normally you cannot map to it, but what we're going to do is create the workflow so that the number here will be grabbed and copied into there. The new value should use a formula, and the best formula is if it equals to, let's use a formula editor. All right, click on formula editor, insert field, it equals to the mobile buffer insert. So save. When it's done, you will see your workflow shown here, right? You have action, a field update, you update the field, and this is what you will do. You click on it, it'll tell you exactly how that field mobile will be affected. Click done when you're happy. Make sure you activate it by clicking activate, right? Rules needs to be activated. Rules can also be deactivated when you no longer need them, like so, by clicking deactivate. What will happen is that in the survey result, let's find an example. Survey result, we have Burns here, his number last 2, he has a mobile number that is this, so that actually get mapped into here, and when the record is saved, the workflow will automatically take the number here, copy it, and then paste it into mobile. This similar scheme works for emails as well. If you have any other questions about mapping restrictions, I strongly recommend you to go to our TaroWorks customer portal under the user guide, building surveys for data collection task, and you could see how to do field mapping. You could also see a very neat table on which type of questions in TaroWorks can be mapped to which type of field in Salesforce. So overall, it is pretty logical, right? Text question mapped into text fields. just want you to keep that in mind. So thank you very much for your attention, and I'll talk to you next time.